Near Hasselt in the Belgian province of Limburg lies the city of Genk on the Albert Canal, a hive of writers and landscape painters in the 19th century and now home to 66,000 residents. But in the modern era, Genk is famous for two things: a championship-winning football club and the home of champions. Karting Genk. Racing drivers such as Jenson Button, Max Verstappen, André Lotterer and Jérôme D'Ambrosio learnt their craft in karting at this circuit before moving up to the worlds of Formula 1, Le Mans and Formula E. In 2019, the OK and Junior European Championships started in fantastic style at Angeville in France 4 weeks ago. But in Belgium, unpredictable weather and a dynamic, exciting racetrack are set to shake things up even more.
I think it's very refreshing to be here in Genk today with Felipe Massa, with the president of the Karting Commission, and to see all those teams, all those manufacturers, the drivers who are there, and just the motivation, and also that's what we want to do, with motorsport from the grassroots. I'm very happy and very pleased to be here.
Yeah, I think the support is very important, but also the experience, so it's very important that the driver, the young drivers, like the kids, they're doing the OK Junior, the OK, but then I think 1 year at least of shifter, KZ, I think is very important, because this is a very important part of the experience, especially for the driver that wants to go to the open wheels after, to the formulas, maybe even the dreams to arrive in Formula 1. For me, the KZ is the closest thing you have compared to all of the categories with Formula 1.
Thanks to the boys at KartSim, the CIK FIA Karting president and ex-Ferrari Formula 1 driver Felipe Massa was able to take a spin around the Karting Genk circuit. When Felipe was a competitor in karting, it was in regional and national competitions in his native Brazil. But winning the famous 500 miles of Granja Viana at the age of 16 showed his phenomenal skills in the sport. Now dovetailing his commitments as karting president with racing in Formula E, Felipe showed he still has plenty of ability on the KartSim, despite having never driven around this epic circuit before. It also gave us a fascinating insight into the concentration levels of a professional racing driver, as Felipe showed that same discipline and commitment as he demonstrated for Sauber, Ferrari and Williams in Formula 1. His performance left a lot of the drivers, both junior and senior in the current paddock, wondering what might have been if Massa had competed in the European Championships back in the 90s. Probably just as well for the senior drivers that he isn't racing this weekend, as it looks like he could have been very competitive.
10 years now I'm in Italy for this team. It's also a little bit about luck, because when they start to make this team, I was free to come to work with Cosmic. You meet a lot of different people, mining. It's interesting. You need to love to work also with little kids. It's interesting. You have everything. Every time is different. Every time is a new challenge. Every time is something good. Always competitive, even if the conditions are changing. Like today, it's more cold than yesterday. You need always to adapt everything to all the conditions. It's always, you always need to push hard as possible to get the maximum result. So when you see some kids that they improve, they start to be better. It's something that you can be also proud, because in the end you put a little part of this success. So all this thing is nice, yeah.
Let's ride with Dexter Patterson on a lap of the home of champions here in Genk. Hitting the rev limiter as you make your move into turn 1. As you drift across, you're into the braking zone. It's a big stop into the hairpin, staying off the curbs on acceleration. Double left apex now, easy on the throttle in, power down to the floor out of it. For the next left, blip the throttle. You can coast through the apex rather than hit the brakes. But for the right-hander, you'll need to slow the kart right down, back on the gas about a third of the way in. Down the back straight, prepare for a tough chicane. Hard on the brakes into the right, but back on the power to cross the curbs on the left-hander, and then gently coax the kart round to the long flowing right. Heavy braking once more for the left hairpin, but you need to nail the throttle to be dialed in for the final chicane of the lap. The back will drift out, but keep the cards on the inside with a dash of curb to throw you back to the left with power to assist you. Finally, the last corner catches you out if you're not prepared. Hard stop, turn in, power out before the inside apex, and that'll give you a pretty decent lap to the line, especially if you're Dexter Patterson. The Junior Championship for drivers aged 12 to 14 saw an amazing start to the season 4 weeks ago. Last time out at Angeville, it was Finland's Tuukka Tarpanen for the Katala sports team who took the victory, as well as starting from pole position, meaning he earned the maximum 35 points available from the weekend. Ricky Flynn Motorsport teammates, Dutchman Thomas ten Brinker and Ugo Ogachukwu of the United States lie second and third in the drivers' standings. But with a tough weekend ahead, can they maintain their pace at the front of a furious and frenetic field?
I like this circuit. I'm fast here track. I have a good feel. Let's see what's happened this weekend. Hope so I'm leading European Championships this race after. I hope so I'm podium. This weekend was very difficult and good. Let's see what's happened.
I feel confident about it. We knew we had the pace already in the beginning of the year, and now I hope we can win the European Championship. I'm pretty fast here, so I hope we can get the win here at my home track. Just win this round, and we look forward to the next round. So yeah, I've driven here already in the wet, so I know the track in the wet and dry, so that's good.
Yeah, in Angeville I got 5th place, and hopefully here I can get a podium. Yeah, it's predicted rain for tomorrow, but I don't mind, so we'll see. Well, Tuukka Tarpanen's leading the championship, so hopefully we can beat him.
The Tony Kart Racing teammates Nikita Bedrin and Alex Dunn line up on the front row ahead of Thomas ten Brinker and Marcus Amond, with points leader Tuukka Tarpanen languishing back in 31st and Ugo Ogachukwu dramatically failing to make the final. Bedrin and Dunn charge ahead of ten Brinker at the start, with Robert Dehaan storming up to 4th position. Enzo Schionti passes Marcus Amond as well, dropping the Frenchman down to 6th. It's a clean start through the first few corners, but for Russia's Nikita Bedrin, 4 wins out of 5 through the heats stands him in good stead in the early stages. Dunn is second, ahead of ten Brinker, Dehaan, Schionti and Amond. Arvid Lindblad passes Amond on lap 1, but it's not long before the VDK Racing driver passes him back again, followed by his countryman Maceo Capieto. The two Frenchmen begin their rise up through the order in a long final, more than double the length of the earlier heats. The 4 leading karts are broken away up front, with Dunn hustling Bedrin and making his move, with Dutchman Thomas ten Brinker hopeful of moving ahead as well. As Bedrin runs wide, he allows both ten Brinker and Dehaan to get past. That's enough motivation for the Ricky Flynn Motorsport driver to seize an opportunity to take the lead, which he duly takes. Marcus Amond now bolts onto the back of the queue, moving up to 5th position. But Bedrin isn't happy sitting down in 4th, and he goes for the inside line of Robert Dehaan to ease back into 3rd position. Just 2 corners later, and it's Marcus Amond's turn, drivers finding plenty of overtaking opportunities here at Genk. Schionti and Lindblad are now battling with Andrea Antonelli as they try to hold on to their position. Dunn retaliates on ten Brinker into the first corner and retakes the lead, hoping it'll last longer than 3 corners this time around. Elliot Viron's race is already over after a frustrating weekend. So Dunn now leads ten Brinker, Bedrin, Amond and Dehaan. The next man in trouble is the Renzo Patrese, son of Formula 1 winner Ricciardo, stalling after a spin and unable to get going again. Hopefully next time out at Kristianstad in Sweden, he'll have more success. Bedrin and Amond have been swapping places valiantly, as neither wants to finish behind the other. Their biggest problem now is that both Alex Dunn and Thomas ten Brinker have broken away out in front. They'll need to join forces and work together in order to catch the leaders once more. Robert Dehaan is sat in 5th position, and after winning the FIA Karting Academy Trophy final at Wackersdorf 2 weeks ago, his stock has clearly risen very high. Impatience sets in for Marcus Amond and he decides to strike into the top right hairpin onto the back straight. It works beautifully and now the Frenchman is up to third, but he's just getting started. Amond then seeks out second place and his overtaking move allows enough space for Bedrin to move by into third. There's a big gap to make up on Alex Dunn, but at half distance there's still plenty of time. De Haan is still waiting in the wings in 5th position, whilst behind the top 5, Antonelli for the Rosberg Racing Academy is getting dangerously closer. Enough is enough for Robert De Haan as he passes the man set to become the new championship leader, Thomas ten Brinker. It's a frustrating moment for the latter, but there's still time to make up ground. It's game over elsewhere for Laurens Lesueur and the fastest man from qualifying, Conrad Lawson. The Belgian and the Dane try to resume, but the Marshal's priority is safety, and both men are out of luck. For Laurens Lesueur, it's all too much to take. There's not only great battles at the front, as Brazil's Matheus Ferreira goes wheel to wheel with another Danish talent, Jonathan Waywat. And it's important to remember that even though the battle this time isn't for the win, it could be next time. So the knowledge gained from beating your opponent could be invaluable in the weeks and months to come. Having made up the gap, Amond jumps ahead of Dunn to grab the lead of the race, whilst at the same time, Mike Van Vugt and Alfio Spina are arguing about whose fault it was in the incident that puts them out of the race. But with 3 laps to go, Amond is now in the lead. Bedrin starts the duel for 3rd position with Robert De Haan on the last lap, with ten Brinker hungry behind them. But at the finish line, Marcus Amond takes a fantastic victory ahead of a frustrated Alex Dunn. Bedrin crosses the line ahead of ten Brinker, but a post-race penalty would cruelly demote the Russian. But the glory belongs to Marcus Amond of France.
Took a bad start, but then little and get position and get first. I don't know, there's many races, Christensen and Le Mans, we'll see. Yeah, the team are good. They give me confidence, on the final, and it's good. It was a great weekend. Everyone in Tony Card have done a great job helping me. I think we stayed consistent in the heats, which put us on the front row for the final. And got a good start, and then managed to get past Nikita in the early laps, and then I just did my best trying to control the race. I think maybe the pressures were a bit too high, so towards the end the kart started to slide a bit, and then that's how Marcus got back. But I think it was a good race and I'm quite happy.
I was confident about the final, but we had a problem with the chassis, so we missed some pace to the guys in front, but with some luck we still managed to finish in the podium. So I'm happy about that, and I'm looking forward to next round. Well, for sure we don't know. I expect some good racing there. I hope we can just take the win there and get as many points we can for the championship.
The weekend started more or less very well for us, and we made some good times in qualifying despite the difficult conditions. Afterwards, the first heats went well, we won the first, the second was more difficult, and so on to the 3rd, 4th and 5th, but we knew we had more tyre wear than the competition because Marcus carries 23 kilograms of lead, so we knew that by fitting the new tyres in the final we would be very fast. We're still hopeful of good results. We will try and do as well in Sweden as we did 6 months ago. I think we have a good feeling there and we will try to make the difference. We don't know the pace yet, so we'll take each race after another and we'll see what happens. I would like to dedicate this race to a friend who passed away 2 weeks ago. He's the person who taught me everything and allowed me to be where I am. I would like to say, it's all for you, André Bruning. Thank you for everything you taught me. The OK European Championship opener saw the teenage talents challenge the established guard last time out, but here in Belgium, the big names are set to get back in the groove. It's been a tough time for the reigning European champion Hannes Janka, whose campaign is now practically over after failing to reach the final for the second weekend in a row. But for world champions Lorenzo Travassanuto and Pedro Hiltbrand, it's time to reclaim their places at the top end of the standings. After France, it's Dexter Patterson of Sauber Karting leading, ahead of Juho Valtonen and Gabriele Mini. But with contenders such as Morgan Porter and Delano Van 't Hoff emerging at the front at Genk, and a major storm on the horizon, will it stay that way?
Yeah, after the first round was very good, but we have to just look race by race. There's still 3 more races to go, and yeah, focus on this weekend, and then we'll see towards the end of the championship where we really are. But no, I think the pace is still okay. Try to do the best job possible.
First round was good for me. Now we are second in the championship, and we try to do our best for this weekend. Try to stay on the top of the standings after this round.
What I've seen last year, the important here is to be constant. So I will try to, I'm really happy for my 3rd position actually, but I will try to always stay in the top 5 or top 3. That should be good for the championship. If it's gonna rain, everything will change. But if the track will be dry, I think there will be a lot of battle in the track. It won't be easy at all. Everyone can win and everything can happen.
Franz Emil Sarajavi is out before the race even begins, as the kart fails to start off the line. It's an all-world champion front row, as Pedro Hiltbrand shares with Lorenzo Travassanuto. Morgan Porter's had a brilliant weekend to start 3rd, alongside Nicolas Pertolatti, with Delano Van 't Hoff and Dino Beganovic rounding out the top 6. Alongside Alessandro Irlando is championship leader Dexter Patterson, starting in 8th after a tough weekend, with Juho Valtonen failing to make the final and Gabriele Mini down the order. The race gets underway in dry conditions, with rain threatening to hit the circuit. It's no change in the top 3 through the first few corners, although Delano Van 't Hoff and Alessandro Irlando get amazing starts off the line. The first corner isn't without drama though, as heat winner from the weekend Sebastian Ogard tangles in the midfield and is spat out at the edge of the circuit. All he can do is push start the kart back into the race, and despite managing to do so, the Dane is now over half a minute behind the field. The battle for the win begins up front, but Lorenzo Travassanuto is determined to shake off the disappointment of Angeville and lunges past Hiltbrand on the first lap of the race, and so the battle doesn't last long. Morgan Porter continues his brilliant weekend by passing the 2016 world champion as well, but the race ends in disappointment for Rasmus Kortelainen and Sami Megatunith, with the pair of them out on the spot on the back straight. Delano Van 't Hoff strikes next, and he becomes the 3rd man to pass Pedro Hiltbrand in as many laps. At the final corner, a tough weekend ends for Kirill Smal and Frank Chapard, with both drivers hoping for better luck in Sweden. The sensational wildcard Ben Dorr continues his strong run by passing Irlando, whilst Delano Van 't Hoff continues his amazing race by diving inside Porter at the last minute at the hairpin. It throws Porter completely off rhythm, and he quickly loses out to Pedro Hiltbrand at the next corner. Dexter Patterson finally starts making his comeback, passing Irlando, with Pertolatti and Beganovic compounding Porter's woes and then setting about overtaking Irlando into the first corner, which gives Morgan Porter the chance to retake the position from the Birolard. But Genis Savico can't quite get the job done himself. So now it was Travassanuto leading Van 't Hoff, with Hiltbrand ahead of Patterson and Beganovic leading the chasing queue. All the while, the clouds are getting darker and darker. Will the rain fall before the finish? Savico then lines up a move into the final corner on Alessandro Irlando, but Ben Dorr has enough space to pass as well. Savico isn't too keen on letting the German pass him straight away, but local track knowledge favours the McLaren colours of the TB racing kart, and Ben Dorr is through. Behind the 3 men, Gabriele Mini is now back in the hunt. But it's the other Sauber driver, Josh Dufek, who strikes into the chicane at the end of the lap, moving the Swiss ace firmly into the top 10. Then Porter makes his challenge on Pertolatti into the first corner, and the Englishman is back in front. With Travasanuto so far in the lead, the race becomes a quest for second position, and Patterson makes his bid for third, passing Hiltbrand with ease. His next target is the Dutchman Delano van 't Hoff, but even third place should see Dexter retain his lead in the Drivers' Championship. Ben Dorr continues to find overtaking moves out of thin air, as Bertolatti finds out in the hairpin heading onto the back straight. But after what has already been a painful start to the season for Pedro Hiltbrand, an engine seize puts him out of the race. His 2019 season in the European Championship is in smithereens. It's heartbreaking for the Spaniard. Porter and Bertolatti find the space to move up past Mini, but the threat of rain is now a reality. The storm hits the circuit and everybody is struggling for grip, with Morgan Porter trying to move forward and Hugo Sass struggling to stay on track. But with everybody on slick tyres and the rain coming down hard, just staying on the road is an incredible effort. As the downpour becomes torrential, the officials decide to red flag the race, with the positions taken from the previous lap, as the threat of a big accident is just too high. But a front fairing penalty would drop the luckless Delano van 't Hoff down the order, robbing him of a brilliant second place. So it's a win for Lorenzo Travasanuto by over 10 seconds, with Patterson second and a jubilant Beganovic in third. For the world champion, his assault on the European Championship title begins here, with a smooth victory in Belgium, as he moves up to second in the standings, just 15 points behind Patterson and 8 ahead of Gabriele Mini.
Yeah, I think the most difficult part has been qualifying, because it was not an easy condition and we messed it up a bit, but we had to start then 9th and 10th for each heat, but we made our way up, winning heats and doing proper results, and that for me has been the hardest part of it. Then okay, we managed to start second in the final. We knew we had a really good speed, so it was just about getting it home.
The final was very difficult, but start off the weekend with the qualifying not being perfect and the heats, the speed being okay, but still not. We weren't fully confident about the final, but in the final, I think we did a good job. The pace was a lot better with the new tyres, and to come home P2 is a really good result.
It was a really good race for me. It was a tough final with many overtakes, and I made a good start, so I could have a great speed after and make a good tempo, and then it just go better and better, and keep my head down and go forward.
Incredibly difficult with the changing weather conditions. We didn't really end up where we wanted, especially with Lorenzo after the qualifying. Due to changing conditions in the groups, and we had to fight our way back. We found good pace in the heats. We were really happy with that, and we're sure that if the weather doesn't change or put us in any bad situation, that we could end up fine. We started both pilots in the first 2 rows. That's also important for us to show that we can't only win with Lorenzo or be able to perform with Lorenzo. It's been an amazing run he did in the final, and like you already said, the row of races we had now with 3 weeks in a row we won, so we are quite happy, and we also look forward to Kristianstad, and we are happy that it's not too long break, so we hope to still surf on that wave, and we are looking forward to that.
So the hero of the hour in the Junior European Championships is Marcus Amond, a very popular winner and now second in the standings, just 6 points behind Thomas ten Brinke and 5 more ahead of Alex Dunn. Dexter Patterson leads the OK Championship with Lorenzo Travasanuto chasing him down, and Sweden's Dino Beganovic can now look forward to racing on home soil after his maiden podium in the OK European paddock. In 2 weeks, we head to the Asomring at Kristianstad in Sweden, where the battle for victory continues.